wait a few minutes and let some people get on and tell you what we're going to be doing. You let me know if people are coming on.
We're telling your followers that you started a live video. Hang on. We're telling more followers to join your video.
Cool. We'll give it a few minutes and wait for people to come on. As they come on, you can...
Seems you're very busy or...
What was that?
I don't know, but you've got somebody on.
Oh, hi. Who is it?
Amber?
Hi, Amber. Just waiting for some people to come on. See if we get anybody. So what I'm going to do today is prepare a mermaid tail for a keychain. Make that out of epoxy and glitter, and we'll be starting that here in just a few minutes. While we're waiting, I'm doing this video so I can put it up on my YouTube channel, Mindy's Craft Shack. And it would be great if you went on to Mindy's Craft Shack on YouTube and subscribed and liked. I have one video up there now. Just started it yesterday. But for those who add a comment, subscribe, and like my YouTube videos, they can be entered to win a fishing lure tumbler. And I can even personalize that and send it to them. And here it is. So that is, you're able to win that if you like, subscribe, and put a comment down in the comments on my YouTube videos. Alright, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said in the beginning, I am going to make a mermaid tail keychain. And the way I do that is I take epoxy, and there's two parts to this epoxy. There's one is the resin and the other one is called the hardener. And other brands have A and B. It's the same thing. So what we're going to do is, I've got these little medicine cups, and I'm going to fill it to, let's go 10 mils on this, and it's 1 part to 1 part. So I'm putting 10 mils of the hardener in one, and then 10 mils of the resin in a different cup here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. I have my husband Michael watching for questions so I can answer them as we go. So what you're going to do is take your part A or B, whichever one, and you're going to mix it into the other cup. And you want to make sure you get as much out of the one cup as you can, because you want it equal parts. If you don't get it equal parts, it's not going to set up at all. And then your craft is no good. I'm just going to set that cup off to the side. Now I'm going to take this, and you want to stir very slowly. If you go fast, it does create a lot of bubbles. You will have some bubbles in this. It's kind of, you can't get around that. And what we do is we take a flame and pop those bubbles once we get them into the mold. But you can see here, as I'm stirring, it's kind of cloudy right now. You'll know it's all stirred as soon as it clears up. I'm just stirring. Sorry, I get into what I'm doing, and I might forget to talk or something like that. So, like I said, don't be afraid to ask any questions. Now, I am going to be selling these keychains on my Etsy store, or in my Etsy store.
What's the address for your Etsy store?
My Etsy store is located at Mindy's Craft Shack US on Etsy.
Do you have a particular brand of epoxy that you prefer over other brands, or?
Yes, I do. I like the Amazing epoxy. I think I've tried the Art. Oh, what's it called? It's Art Resin, and I just don't like it as much as I do the Amazing brand. It just tends to not set up very well. And you can see it's starting to clear up, and you see those bubbles. But not to worry, those bubbles will disappear once we put heat to them. And we'll do that towards the end of this. And I think we're just about there. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the mixed, and I'm just going to put a little bit back into the cup that we had just the hardener in. And then we get to play with some glitter. I've got holographic or neon yellow that I'm going to be using, and I just put a little bit in there, and this helps thicken it up a little bit. It helps it set up. And then I just stir that. And get a pretty shimmering color of yellow there. And then I've got this neon green that we're going to put in the other cup. And it's going to be the majority of the mermaid tail. And then I'm just going to take a different stick and stir that up, mix it up real good.
Is there a reason for using two different sticks?
Yeah, I don't want to mix the yellow because this has the yellow glitter on it. I don't want to mix the two colors, and because see, this will be green and one's yellow. So it's just a precaution. All right, so you can see those both are mixed. And then I've got my mermaid fishtail here, or mermaid tail. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and start pouring this into the mold here. This is a silicone mold. Anytime you're working with epoxy and you're putting it into a mold or anything like that, you want to make sure you use silicone because the epoxy won't stick to the silicone. And then I'm not going to fill that up all the way because I don't want it to go to the end of the fishtail. So I'm going to now start pouring the yellow in, making sure I get into those cracks there. And I'm going to pour all this yellow in. If it starts to overflow, that's okay, because one of the things we're going to do is once it's all set up, it takes about 24 hours to set it up. Then we can take it out of the mold and you are ready to do any repairs that you might need to. So I'm just adding the rest of the green glittered epoxy to it, and it's going to push against that yellow and bring it down. And I just kind of mix it there. I get out as much as I can. And then see if I can scrape any more of the yellow out. Alright, one thing you want to do if you're ever working with epoxy, make sure you wear gloves. You want to get nitrate gloves because this is a chemical and it will, it can be harmful to your skin. Alright, and so we're going to let that set. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you will see some of the bubbles rising to the top. So what I'm going to do is take this torch, I get to play with fire, and I'm going to pop those bubbles. See how those bubbles pop. Just like so. And so, yes, anytime you put heat towards the epoxy and there's bubbles, it will make the bubbles rise and pop them for you. And I did make this fish tail, mermaid tail, just the other day, and you can see where the epoxy kind of ran, so I'm gonna clean that up and put the keychain part on. And this I can take off my gloves for. I don't need them on to do this part. See? And my knife is not working, of course, on a live. So what I normally use, we'll just talk about this real quick. What I normally use to clean this up is a heat knife, and I just go around the edge and it kind of melts that epoxy and it makes it easy, really easy to clean up. Yeah, it's not even getting hot. So I will get myself a new heat knife. Anyway, so like I was saying, with the heat knife, get one that's working, and you're just going to go along this edge here, and that will cut it right off, the heat from that. But what I can do is show you how I add the chain part to the keychain. And fun thing about this is I get to play with power tools and all kinds of stuff. And what I'm going to be using is my Dremel. And I believe this drill is a 3/15. And I've got the keychain part. Alright, so we got that, and then we need the little eye. How are we doing out there?
Please feel free to jump in with any questions you have or comments, concerns.
So what I'm going to do is drill a little hole in the end of the mermaid tail. This might be a little loud. Sorry if it is. And I don't go down very far. Just a little there. And that's it. And then I take the little eye screw, and where I made that hole at, I am able to screw this in, and it doesn't crack it or anything like that. And if it gets kind of hard to screw in, I just take a pair of these little pliers and I just start twisting it on there. And great. Only on a live would this happen. Alright, so it's not going well. What I'll need to do is make a bloopers video.
Do you have a finished keychain that you can show us?
I do. I will go get it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to drill that one out somehow. Just a minute, let me get you a finished keychain. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. So here's a finished keychain. Same color as we just made tonight. You see it didn't break. Like I said, that will only happen on a live. Any other time, it's gonna go like
clockwork.
Really, I'm sorry, what?
Like clockwork?
Yes, like clockwork. Thank you. So there's these will be listed on my Etsy store, and within the next couple days. And so if you're interested, you can go to Mindy's Craft Shack US on Etsy and order one of those. Don't forget, I will be putting this live on YouTube. And for those of you that go to my YouTube, Mindy's Craft Shack, and subscribe and like, and make sure you leave a comment. You will be entered to win a fishing lure tumbler, and I will be able to personalize it if you'd like. The drawing is going to be, I'm going to say, what's today, the 5th? I'm going to say the 19th. I will do the drawing on the 19th for this. We'll let you know if you win. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to get as many subscribers as I can. Like I said, my YouTube page is new. Come support me and my YouTube page, my Etsy page. And I will see you later.